So now I'd like to talk about a common pain problem. It's one of the main reasons patients come to see me, besides chronic back pain and fibromyalgia, and that is migraine headaches. Most people in life have experienced a headache at some point, but migraines are a whole other animal. I work in Ann Arbor, and Ann Arbor has the first head pain clinic in the country. And I don't believe that is an accident. And Ann Arbor is near Detroit, and Detroit is the motor city. And when the auto industry started in Detroit, do you know where Henry Ford and the other auto companies recruited from to get their workers, their employees? And they recruited from the South. Who develops migraine headaches more, men or women? Women. And what is a quality of a Southern? Well, they are pleasant, sweet, polite, very appropriate, very well behaved, very contained. And what is the one emotion that they're not allowed to express? Anger. That's right, anger. Many of these women I evaluate, they grow up in homes and they're told, don't talk back, don't slam the door, don't stamp your feet. And if they ever talk back or question anything, they're slapped in the face. They're told to stuff their feelings, and at the same time, they need to act very sweet. So all this anger and frustration that can occur with anybody can be magnified in these women because they've had to stuff their feelings so long. So when their emotions come up, like anger, and they've been told their whole life they can't experience anger, they want to scream and yell, and this emotion manifests as pounding head pain because they have to bite it. They can't let themselves scream, and after a while it becomes unconscious. Whenever they become irritated, they have this pounding head pain, and they have to isolate themselves. And since these Southerners came up and got benefits, now for the first time in their life, they may have had headaches before, but there was no treatment. Now there was treatment, and there was an explosion of patients coming to the University of Michigan in the Ann Arbor area complaining of headaches from the South. And this resulted in a need for a head pain clinic, and which they discovered top of the line medical treatment for these patients. But I feel like there's a huge underlying mind-body connection that is not often addressed in the medical community regarding these headaches. And that is addressing the underlying rage that occurred way back in childhood that developed and now is manifesting regularly as chronic migraines. Another factor I hear from childhood that can play a role in migraines, and it's a similar factor, is growing up in perfectionistic homes. Many patients tell me they grow up in homes where everything they have to do is perfect. I hear that if you don't do it right the first time, don't do it at all. And if you don't do it right, you're going to be yelled or screamed at or punished. And every task they do has to be perfect. And some of these homes where they have to do everything perfect, even if they do it perfectly, it doesn't come out correctly. A classic example is dishes. I've heard this story many times. The daughter is told to do the dishes, and the daughter does the best she could, washes the dishes, dries them, put them in the cupboard, and the mother will come in and look at the dishes and find some mistake somewhere that nobody else can see, pull all the dishes out of the cupboard and say, start all over again. So what happens with these patients that I see is when they're quite young, their mind is racing to do everything they can to be perfect and not get criticized or punished. But no matter what they do, they still get punished. And after a while, this tension that's held in the head of this racing thoughts, trying to be perfect over time cause pounding head pain. A possible example of this, I was reading a little bit about Serena Williams, and she suffers from migraine headaches. And of course, she is probably one of the top female tennis players in the world. Her father, who helped train her from a young age to be a tennis champion, said when Serena and her sister were quite young, around the age of 5, he wrote a 48-page outline of how he's going to make his daughters tennis champions. 48 pages when they were at 4 years old. So I'm thinking, growing up in that home, this family structure was quite tense, and he had a definite way of raising his kids. He expected perfection. And they became perfect. Serena, at least, now has migraines. That could be a possible connection. Thank you for tuning in.